to the podcast. Thanks for joining in. I'm your host, Eddie. We got a great show for you today. Really appreciate y'all joining in. I'm already, enjoying my little brew right here. Right now, we had a chance to, this episode, we had a chance to sit down with Howling Rabbits Beer Works. We had to sit down. We sat down with Jason and we talked about his new beer out there at Brewsome. Talked about the Rabbit Punch, which I'm trying right now. We had a chance to sit down with him and have a little sip with him, talk about the process and things like that. And it was pretty cool, just talking to Jason and getting to know him. It's from Mission, and we talked a little bit more about his passion for beer and things like that. Today with me, he's been helping me out with the interviews. We have our ghost producer. His name's Ghost. So he'll be joining in today. We're going to be talking about what's going on this week, what happened this weekend, and what's to come for the podcast. And I really appreciate everybody joining in. Y'all are so awesome, downloading, viewing. It really goes a long way, those shares as well. So make sure you share, subscribe, and I really appreciate everybody for doing that. Cheers, buddy. Yes, sir.
Cheers, brother. Cheers. Yeah, so, this brew from Jason, I mean, it's unlike any other. Like he mentions in the interview, it's not too tart, it's not too sour. You could really swig this down.
Refreshing. It just and then just the passion that he takes into making this kind of beer. He's he's been trying. He got his taste of craft brew at Roosevelt's. When he said he started off with Fireman Ale and then just went from there. But it's awesome content that we have coming your way with him. And then man. Good stuff, man.
Good stuff. And again, it's a local brewer. Mm-hmm. So, again, support your local breweries. Right. That's one of the main reasons why we decided to make this podcast. So again, support local always. And
I'm glad that we finally had somebody, man, like, one of our first, even if it's a little microbrewery, but this guy, he's been getting that experience with those breweries, man. And he definitely knows the stuff, coming up with unique stuff. So we talk about, some of his beers coming up and things like that. But one thing I do want to get into, man, this past weekend, I hate to say it, but Tom Brady, man, he's the GOAT, bro. He's the GOAT.
TB12. Fuck TB12.
Nah, man. He's gonna be rocking and rolling. Tampa right now, with no mask.
That's what I'm talking about.
Their balls off and everything, man. Fucking crazy stuff, man.
Look, man.
The Gronk train, bro. Everybody's riding it. Everybody's partying it.
It's easy to win a game when you got the refs on your side, man. That's all I gotta say, man.
You think it was the refs? I saw some calls there that that they were pretty consistent, man. They would be
throughout the whole playoffs, man. Yeah. That's the thing that pisses me off.
They would be calling stuff on their end, but not calling that same stuff on the other side. So that's kind of where I was like iffy about it. I was like, hey, man, what's going on? But the Super Bowl was just flat, bro. Commercials sucked. Weekend, man, I was very disappointed the weekend.
Yeah,
he sucked, bro. Like, I don't care who you are. You're saying, oh, it's an artistic thing. He's been doing it for a year.
No.
But what the fuck, man? What kind of you pay you're gonna come out before the Super Bowl, put a press release out there. You're spending $7 million of your own dollars to put in this.
You paid $7 million for that.
Extra $7 million, like on top of what Jay-Z gave him. Everybody knows Jay-Z does the concerts now, right?
What?
So yeah, on top of that, he put in $7 million. I guess
bring another artist or something.
I saw some weird ass tweet. It was like, "Oh, bad. This is just a storyline. Y'all don't understand. You all are uncultured." I was like, "Nah, man. If you're gonna come to the Super Bowl and perform, you come with your best, bro."
Yeah.
I don't even like Prince. I just like Purple Rain. That's a great song. Don't get me wrong, but that performance, like, I think it's got to be the best fucking performance in the Super Bowl, man.
Thinking about it, look, man, Lady Gaga, she fucking came down on a fucking string from like I don't know how many stories up in the air. Like she went all out.
Michael Jackson did the little imposter thing.
Yeah,
even Coldplay when they went in San Francisco, bro.
Exactly.
Beyonce shut down the lights. Like the Weeknd. Man.
Look, I love the Weeknd, man. I love his music. Yeah, I love his art.
Since like,
but
like he was one of those, especially when we were in college, bro.
Man.
He kind of blew up, and it's kind of one of those things. His little mixtapes that he dropped, and then to see how mainstream he got, I think he was overdue for a Super Bowl, but
yeah,
at the same time.
But performance-wise, man, that was a Super Bowl caliber. Let's just be quite frank. Let's just be honest. Love him, love his, music and whatnot.
A better catalog of songs than what he played. That's what I think, and I just think that PG. You got to keep it for the family and all that.
I kind of want to bring it back and talk about, paying off the refs and whatnot.
how much we are gonna find out how much they paid next year. I'm gonna call Jerry Jones. We're gonna get him on the phone. We're gonna put a budget for it. We need the Super
Yeah.
Bowl now.
No,
But you know what? Even being on the bandwagon this past year, and yeah, I'm a bandwagon. I joined the bandwagon. What you gonna do about it? I did it in March. I was messing around, and I'm a man of my word. I'm gonna stick to it. I know Gronk got traded. I'm like, yeah, man. I might as well. But it was cool to actually root for a team that won a Super Bowl and doesn't break your heart. It was cool not going through the ups and downs this year. But I think next year I might bite the bullet again to see, depending on the whole Dak thing and see what's. I mean, I was boycotting the Cowboys, man. I'm still thinking about it. If they could change my mind during the draft some linemen, get some more DBs to help out. Shit, man.
Yeah.
Good to go.
Yeah, like, I mean, be honest. I mean, we could talk about Super Bowl and whatnot for probably a whole hour and a half. But,
there's some news that
look,
breaking news here. I'm breaking the seal.
Breaking the news. There is confirmed a fifth dimension. Yes.
Fifth dimension. Who confirmed it? What are the sources?
Yeah, we skipped the fourth dimension and we just jumped to the fifth dimension.
We just went to the fifth dimension, bro. So the fourth dimension does exist, but the fifth dimension definitely exists.
Yeah. So it's weird, it's let's just say it's trippy, right? The fifth before fourth, but no, yeah, it was released earlier this week. Supposedly, I'm no scientist, but they have some evidence or potential evidence to prove that there's a fifth dimension. And what I will mention is this: look, man, I mean, we all know that there's something else out there. We feel in our bones every single day. So
yeah, man.
And maybe this is what it is, supposedly it's dark matter, that it's an explanation of dark matter or whatnot.
Yeah, and it wouldn't be a crazy theory, because I know a few years ago, I think maybe last year, they said that they found that time moves backwards. What? So what? NASA, that there's there's some sort of gravitational pull that's happening where when time goes forward, it also goes backwards. I'm no scientist yet, but this is what an article that I had read. It was from NASA, the source and everything. But it was pretty interesting to see that. If you want to check it up, you want to Google it, check it out.
Which one?
The fifth dimension. Let's check that out. And then we can go with the other one.
I think it was an article on Popular Mechanics, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see.
Yeah, man, there's all this crazy shit going on, and I wouldn't be surprised. Like, even a couple of days ago, or a couple of weeks ago, I think at the beginning of the year, there's a Harvard scientist. He said that there was some back in 2017. They saw I guess they saw an unidentified object flying through space.
That's a whole other thing too.
At first, they thought it was a comet. And then after further research, it broke all the records. All
right, the title is called "Scientists Are Pretty Sure They Found a Portal to the Fifth Dimension." Okay, on Popular Mechanics. All right, what is this? I have to sign in. What?
Man, they make you sign in for everything, bro.
Dude, I can't even see the article. I can't even see the article, bro. But look, man, I mean, let's just admit the fact. No, I mean, maybe not admit the fact, but we know that there's something else out there. I mean, I'm not going to religion and whatnot, but look, I mean, that we feel in our bones, man. There's something else out there. It's not just,
and it's not, man.
It's just something.
The chances are just too high. It's just there's so many planets out there, so many galaxies out there, and I heard that that even when they go out and look at another galaxy or another galaxy, most of them are developed the same. They have that one planet that's gonna have life form. If it's not humans, it's to the smallest form.
Yeah, I mean, mathematically, there's millions and millions of Earth-like planets out there. There has to be, just statistically, mathematically. And so, again, that's kind of going into the realm of potential aliens.
I love that sci-fi shit, man.
But
sci-fi definitely is something. I love all that. Speaking of sci-fi, man,
let's talk about
WandaVision, bro.
Well, hold on. Yeah. You know what? Esports or WandaVision?
We'll talk about WandaVision first, and then we can bring up esports. I'll give everybody a rundown on what's going on there.
Yes, sir.
But dude, WandaVision, man, week by week. Today's Thursday, so tomorrow episode drops, man, and I'm excited about it. I want to see what happens. They kind of threw a screwball if you haven't seen it.
But I don't want to, if you haven't. But
if I could compare it to something, man, Truman Show, man. Have you seen the Truman Show?
Yes, sir.
Dude,
I have.
I saw that movie again the other day, bro. Ooh, man.
It's a great movie.
It's a really great movie, and it just gives you that thought. And I think that's where everything's leading to, too, man, where everybody's just their own social media star or whatever. But It's a pretty cool movie and it's a pretty cool concept, just the idea of a company or corporation owning a person and then making a TV show. Like I don't see that be too far from what's going on right now,
Especially
man.
with the fifth dimension, bro.
The
I
fifth
mean,
dimension,
shit, man.
bro.
It's
Maybe
is
in the
it
fifth
coincidence?
dimension, maybe in the fifth dimension, Patrick Mahomes won. Maybe the Chiefs scored a touchdown.
Maybe the refs were throwing flags
Can we go to the fifth
against the
dimension and check
Buccaneers.
that out, please?
What thinking about it, coincidentally, we got WandaVision, and then now there's a fifth dimension.
Fifth dimension, right? And
What
Marvel
is
is
this?
doing real good, man.
What is this, man? How you gonna correlate that? Coincidence? I don't know, man. Question mark.
It's just
man.
right now that content is very popular right now. That
But,
there's different dimensions. But yeah, let's talk about esports, man.
Esports,
That's
bro.
one thing. We just finished up. We wrapped up our Super Smash Brothers a few weeks ago. So congratulations to Nietzsche's. He ended up taking home the RGB Strong Championship. So he
Congratulations,
took
brother.
that. He's taking home $75. And then also second place taking home $25. The next one that we're coming up to is our Mario Kart League. So that one's already coming down to the wire. I know that Mission Control is working very hard to get everything done. They finished up everything. So now we should be having, more or less who's going to be, starting up in the stats, the rankings, things like that. For the next the next set of games, the deadline is going to be this week. So we have a bunch of games. There's still time for you all to sign up too. So we got Call of Duty, we got Fortnite, we also have CS:GO, we have Apex Legends going on too that you could sign up for. So that's one thing that we're going to be launching pretty soon. We just need a few more teams to get started, and once we get all the teams, we're going to rock and roll. I still have a few prizes from all of our sponsors, so I want to give them a huge shout out. Also, thank you for everybody that subscribed so far. Don't forget to subscribe to Breaking the Seal. Don't forget to subscribe to RGB Strong. We've got a lot of stuff going on in the next few months too, so we're going to be bringing back Trivia Night. And man, just the next round of games, the next round of esports games.
Yeah, shout out to all you gamers in RGV. I know we're pretty strong in the gaming area, gaming division.
Yeah, man, there's a lot of gaming stuff, or a lot of stuff in gaming popping up event wise too. But yeah, I mean, always take those precautions too. The thing that I started the esports league for, especially this one, and worked with Mission Control with this, is because it's all remote. You don't have to be next to each other. It's all about taking precautions. I know everybody's taking the vaccine, but don't, you still could get sick off of that. So be careful. I already know a few people that have gotten sick again, even though they taken the vaccine. But yeah, you still want to take the precautions, even though you have the vaccine. You still want to wear a mask. I think the CDC said double mask now.
Yeah,
so I'm gonna wear 4 masks. Okay, I'm gonna wear 4 masks.
But yeah, look, man, going back to the esports, look, man, I mean, right now, again, luckily we're able to do some of these tournaments remotely. Of course, we do want to, hopefully once this kind of blows over a little bit more COVID, do more, I guess you could say, in-person tournaments. But until then, right now we're doing remotely.
Yeah, right now everything's remote. And then as soon as everything, like I mentioned, pops up, we're going to be having little events here and there. We are doing events with RGB Strong, but it's more for it's more you just socially distance and safe. It's like a dining fundraiser that we do. So in March, if you are a nonprofit, you want to participate on the RGB Strong page, send us a message. That way, we can get things going. I don't really ask for anything. I do all the work for you. And definitely we get you all going. All you do is just find sponsors, and that's pretty much it. And you take home what you can get. Pretty much that's how it works for the nonprofits. We do our Cash App, we do a video game tournament, and all of it is just raising money for all the nonprofits. So if you're interested, send us a message. That way we can get you started. Things are going well with the Strong page. So I also want to let you all know in the next few weeks, we got some awesome guests, and I'm really grateful on the response we're getting from everybody. Everybody's pretty badass, just wanting to be on the show, and we're here to give everyone that platform like we talked about. So in the next few weeks, we're gonna be having a few more people. Next week we have the fellows from the 956 sports card show. They're going to be joining us. They're having their event in a couple weekends, and we're going to be talking about that, what cards, things like that. That's next week, and then we have another brewery coming in as well. We're going to be having them. They're going to be. I'm pretty excited about it. They're going to have about 5 beers ready for us. So we'll be talking to them. I believe it's the Convergent Brewery. Hold on one second. Yeah, Convergent Craft. We're gonna be talking to them in a few weeks.
Now,
But don't try
FYI,
to be MacGyver.
you will need a corkscrew to open up this
Don't
really
be
good brew.
be
Okay.
patient and just drive to the dollar store, buy a corkscrew. That's my recommendation if you don't
Uh,
have one in the house already. But definitely awesome beer, good stuff. We talked to him about the process, talk about what he has going on. And this guy's a hustler, man. So yeah, let's get Jason
let's
on.
jump into it.
Yes, sir. Thank you. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining in. With me today, we have Jason Flores out of Howling Rabbits Beers Works. So we're gonna be talking to him and then talking about his new beer that he just launched a few weeks ago, Rabbit Punch. Or you've had it on for a while already, right? So
It's been
yeah,
about a
man.
month.
It's been a month. Wow, nice,
About
nice,
yeah.
definitely. So yeah, man, I really appreciate it. So tell us a little bit more about where you're from and your background.
Well, I live in Mission. Been in the valley pretty much most of my life. For the most part, as far as beer goes, I got really into craft beer back in 2008 when Roosevelt's at 7 opened up in McAllen.
Mm-hmm.
Stopped by one day, had my first sip of my first craft beer was a Fireman's 4 from Real Ale.
That's a good
And
one.
yeah, it's a great beer. It changed my life. After that, for a long time, I just tried different beer and really wanted to figure out what it was about craft beer that kind of made me want to drink it more. So started looking into homebrewing. Did homebrewing for a couple of years. Have been doing homebrewing for a couple of years.
How did that come
And
about? I mean, I know when we did sit down with you a few days
mhm.
ago, briefly, you had mentioned that you had gotten like a little home kit. How'd that go? I mean, where'd you get that from? And kind of, if you don't mind, some of us kind of newbies in a way. How do you like make beer? How's the process? I know it's a long ass process, I'm sure, man. But if you could just give us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So, and you'd be surprised. It's kind of like almost a joke now, because a lot of people that started homebrewing, they're like, "Yeah, I got a Mr. Beer kit," and that really kind of how it is.
Uh-huh.
You used to be able to find them like in Walmart, Academy, all those places. It's like a little, really quick, easy to do, like $20-$30 kit. And I mean, the beers come out all right.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, I was like, nah, this can't be it. So, thanks to modern technology, started going online. There was a lot of, groups, homebrewing groups that you could join in, and people talk about recipes and processes. The whole process behind beer, honestly, it's not as complicated as a lot of people think it is,
Mm-hmm.
but there's definitely a lot of math and science involved. The way I tell people is like, if you can make soup on your kitchen top, you can probably brew beer.
Oh, really?
Oh, okay, okay.
So it's as easy
Yeah,
as doing it there. But that's crazy. So like I know like places have opened up recently. I know there's like a place on is it Main Street also? Like they have a lot of equipment there now as well. I forgot what it was called, like RGB Brew.
yeah, RGB Homebrew.
Homebrew, there we go.
Unfortunately, yeah, he actually just closed.
Oh man, that's
Yeah,
sorry to hear. Mhm.
some stuff came up, personal stuff that he had, so he ended up having to close. But yeah, I mean that place was a staple. Well, the only place in the valley where we used to be able to get homebrew stuff. Now we can do it, but we have to go online and order stuff or travel up to like Houston, Austin. There's
Oh
a lot of
wow.
homebrew stores. Yeah,
Oh, so there's a lot more like in Houston. There's a lot of stores out there like that have all this equipment and things like that in Houston. Man,
yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah.
that's a hell of a
There's
drive.
several.
Uh huh.
Yeah,
Yeah, man.
one of the most popular ones is in Austin, the Austin Homebrew.
Oh,
Uh,
Austin.
Well, see, the cool thing about that is that if you're gonna make a drive up to the homebrew store, you can always stop at the breweries and or grab
Yeah,
some.
man. Like make a little road
Hey,
trip.
might as well.
Yeah,
Right, you start at the Pearl, or even if you want to, get a little sidetracked and go to Corpus, you could do that too. But there's a
yeah,
lot of
for sure.
awesome places opening up, man, and that's really why I wanted to start this podcast, like I was saying the other day, and especially here in the Valley, there's a lot of that. And the other day, it's crazy because I didn't realize how much you all collaborated a lot. So tell us how that started. I know you brew at 5x5 and also Brewsome. So tell us more about that and how they've opened their arms to you and helped out.
I've been really lucky. I really have. I've been able to make a lot of friends within the community. I've been trying, to build through the crappy community too. Funny story: George Rice and I from 5x5 went to school together.
Oh, cool.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah, yeah. I mean, if you were to see the guy, huge dude. I remember he was in a football team.
Mhm.
Funny, all sorts of stuff would go down back then. But um, he ended up it used to be Grain to Glass actually, which of
Right.
course is closed now, unfortunately. Bumped into him and I was like, "Oh, dude, like I think I remember." He was like, "Yeah, by the way, I'm opening up a brewery," and so we started talking, about the whole industry, as far as craft beer, trying to bring craft beer to the valley. Fast forward about a year or two when he finally opened, kept in touch with them and said, "Well, dude, we should brew a beer together. We should brew a beer together,"
Mhm.
and eventually we did. About I want to say maybe now about 2.5 years ago, the very first one I brewed with him was I Got Your Six IPA,
Okay.
hazy IPA. And after that, fast forward to, believe it or not, the pandemic was in a weird way a blessing in disguise for me.
Mhm.
When business slowed down, a lot of bars had to close. George, unfortunately, the production he had to slow down dramatically.
Right.
But that gave us an opportunity to kind of mess around with some of the recipes and stuff that we wouldn't have been able to do because, of course, his schedule was too packed.
Mhm.
So we ended up brewing um, Fu Rona.
Effie Rhoda, yeah, that's the one that I saw like making the social media rounds, man, during this whole thing. Effie Rhoda. So tell us about that one, man. How does that? How did you? What's the process on that one?
It's a hazy IPA. So right now, that's the biggest trend. Hey, and it's gonna last forever. It used to be that IPAs. A lot of people look at them and they're very, very clear, very bitter, very danky. I mean, if any of y'all have been around anybody that smokes pot, that's exactly what an IPA used to smell like.
Like a
Then,
skunky type of thing.
yeah, oh yeah, dude, it's fun. So, but within the last, I want to say maybe within the last maybe 5 years ish, hazy IPAs really started becoming popular because they're not as bitter. They're still very hop forward, so a lot
Mhm.
of people compare them to juice. And yeah, you pour one of those out, and it looks like an orange juice or like a pineapple juice. And you do get a lot more fruity notes from the beer, so it's not as bitter, it's not as in your face as it used to be. So I got the opportunity to brew with him. I was like, dude, I want to brew a hazy IPA. He's like, let's do it. The next thing we know, we have a small release, and I want to say we brewed about maybe a barrel is about 30 gallons worth,
Okay.
and I got a lot of great reception on that beer. A lot of people, were, like you said, social media, they're posting it. So
Mhm.
we had a lot of fun with that one. It became, the Fu Rona. Form. Yeah, it's awesome.
Any plans to bring
And
that one
still, man,
back?
Fu Rona.
I know, right? It's
We
still on
brewed it a couple of.
version 2.0
We,
anniversary.
yeah, we've brewed it a couple of times already. It's been released at least I want to say maybe 2 or 3 times. But yeah, dude. I mean, the cool thing about these collaborations is that we can always go back to them.
Mhm.
Nice. That's true.
So yeah, it might
Nice.
definitely be able to come back here pretty soon.
I know. I
So I
noticed
brewed.
that you're doing another or Black is Beautiful, right? Another round of that. You were working on
Right.
that.
Yeah,
Been
it's our
seeing that.
Buffalo Soldier edition. Yeah, that was
Nice.
that was a really great initiative. So the way that one started, there's a brewery out of San Antonio called Weathered Souls. The head brewer Marcus, he really, social justice. He really wanted to, do something for the community. So he gave out a base recipe for a stout.
Mhm.
That one, George reaches out to me and tells me, "Hey, dude, what can we do with this?" Like, I was like, "Well, what do you want to do with it?" He said, "Let's make it big. Let's make it, bring up the ABV. What can you do with it?" So
Right.
I worked on the recipe for a bit. Um, Brought out more of like an old school, kind of like a California style imperial stout.
Mhm.
Uh, I fell in love with that beer. So we just brewed it again. I was able to sample it last night, and dude,
Oh, there we go.
yeah, for whoever tried the first one, this second batch I think is way better. It's a beautiful, beautiful
There
beer.
you go. You heard it here first. Breaking the seal. New batch, better flavor. That's awesome, man. That's great to hear that. And even at that, it's always about getting better, right, and making sure you improve. And
Yeah,
I think that's one thing when we spoke the other day that you're really good about. Always improving and then making new things as well. Like the fortune cookie ale that you just launched as well, man. Dude, so yeah, that one when we tried it the other night. So tell us more about that, man. How why fortune cookies and let everybody know.
so and like I said, I've been able to make a lot of really good friends within the community. Daniel, the owner of Brewsome, reached out to me. He's like, dude, if you ever want to brew something together. So we got together and we've been doing a couple of collaborations. And so the idea, he has a cream ale that he had been working on. He had brewed before, and the idea was like, well, what can we do to make this more fun? And you know if you ever get a chance to sit with especially me, dude, I'm gonna throw ideas out at you like a bat out of the belfry, dude. And it's just one of those things
Definitely,
where
man.
it's either a beer name, a beer style, or just something like this. Just do something dumb and put it in the beer, right? So I don't know where the conversation led to fortune cookie. I was like, yeah, dude, why not? We can do that. And so within the conversation, all of a sudden I was like, well, we got to put real fortune cookies in there. I was like, of course. And I'm like, we're gonna do 2021 cookies. And it's like, why? I'm like, well, because it's 2021. It's a new year. Why not?
Yes, sir.
And so, yeah, that beer is literally loaded with 2021 fortune cookies.
Man, and it's so good. It's so good. It's something that definitely I've never tried before, and they could find it. People could find it there at Brewsome, right? It's on tap.
It is on tap at Brewsome right now. Yep.
Nice, man.
And yeah, of course, Brewsome. I love those guys. The food there is amazing. They have really good beer too. They do, of course, brew their own beer. But so far, I was able to do Rabbit Punch as a collaboration with them.
Nice, yeah, man. I'm glad that we have that here as well. We're gonna be trying that, the Rabbit Punch.
And if it's okay, man, I mean, Eddie, let's try this, man. I'm looking at this, and my mouth has been watering this whole time, man. So we're gonna try this real quick, man, for you. And
but yeah, no, tell us about Rabbit Punch and just your collaboration with Brewsome. Continue.
Yeah, there's a lot of breweries outside of the valley, of course. There's a lot of breweries that are working with heavily fruited beer. So my idea is to try to bring a lot of the beer styles that we don't get in the valley. I'm trying to bring them down. I'm trying to brew them as well as possible. Nice. So the idea came out with, okay, let's put some fruit. That one we ended up doing about 150 gallons, which is 5 barrels. And I want to say it has somewhere like maybe about 168 pounds of fruit. Strawberry and fruit guava. Yeah, it's a lot of fruit.
It tastes really great.
It's a sour beer, but we wanted to make it more tart than sour.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, I get that. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's not too sour. Yeah, it's a little tart, but it's good enough for like you could take a good swig of it and not have that sour face. You know what I'm saying?
I can see what you said the other day. People down these like nothing, right? So it's like I could see why, and it sneaks up on you, huh?
But that's 6.4. Yes, sir.
Yeah, those can definitely sneak up on you. But yeah, I mean, the idea is like something like this. It's usually really, really warm down here in the valley, so being able to drink something like that, it's kind of easy.
Yeah, man, like a poolside drink, coming down. Spring's coming up and everything, and this one's available at Brewsome. Yeah, man. So you wanted to do your take on the fruited sour. So what else? Do you have planned? I know you said a little while ago right now that you'd like to bring flavors, down here and things like that. So what does the future hold? I know we talked about your collab with 5x5 going on, but any crazy ideas coming up?
Yeah, the ideas don't stop, man. The only thing is right now, I mean, it's just putting things together and having enough time to do it. But yeah, I mean, pretty much when it comes to craft beer now, kind of like with food, there really aren't any limits. There's a lot of breweries out there that are doing some really, really crazy stuff. One of my favorite breweries out of San Antonio, Isla Street, for example, right now, one of their biggest beers is the Rojo, which is basically a beer inspired by Big Red.
Mm-hmm. And, man.
It's really funky stuff, that a lot of people probably didn't think you could put in beer, but man, there's no limit.
That's the one that got me intrigued. I was like, all right, once you got Big Red, there's something going on. There's something that, especially when people are giving those badass reviews and everything. I'm like, yo, what? I need to try it out. But of course, right, I've heard those are also little, you got to watch how many you drink because they actually taste like Big Red, right?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of beer out there that will just completely blow your mind away. There's some stouts. A lot of people think, it's really dark, so it's going to be really strong. There's a big
donut one. Did you talk about the donut one?
Oh yeah.
Is that one you also helped out with that one too in the process? No, a little bit.
Yeah, it was part of the collaboration. That was a collaboration between 5x5, Isla Street, and myself. Is called El Mundo, and that one is basically it was inspired by Shipley's Donuts.
Hey.
So it's a chocolate-filled chocolate donut stout, and dude, it was delicious. It's amazing.
So sorry, real quick, can we still find that, or that's kind of like a limited time thing?
It was only released at one time, but we're actually working to see about brewing it again. That one was such a blast, such a blast. We threw donuts in the beer.
And you said they were Shipley's, right? Like Shipley inspired.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's my favorite spot. Like that's definitely I need to try that beer out, man. It's cool that you all are doing some stuff like this. I think I saw also one like a cookies and cream, man. It's just so crazy what kind of ideas people are putting together. And actually it's working, The pickle one is one. I'm not really a fan of pickles, but yeah, man, that one's what people are running with it, putting hot Cheetos in it. And it's crazy that to see these awesome flavors and just the variety that's come out, especially in these last few years. That's really, really awesome to see, man.
Jason, Howling Rabbit Beer Works. What inspired that name? Where did Howling Rabbit come from? And tell us a little bit about that.
So in Aztec culture, the god of beer is actually 400 drunken rabbits.
Hey,
really?
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, it's basically one rabbit for each stage of drunkenness.
And there's 400?
400 ways to get drunk. I like the Aztecs, man. There's some cool
I'm
people.
like, really, just 400?
Right.
So I really wanted to kind of, incorporate some of that into the name, or eventually, I hope will become a brewery. And so that kind of stuck to me, the whole 400 rabbits. But in England, or I guess in Europe, when someone used to get drunk, they used to call, well, the guy's, he's howling. And so
Yes.
yeah. And so when I came up with the name, I kind of wanted the name to kind of sound like a pub. I didn't want it to sound too Mexican, but I wanted to have something kind of to incorporate it with. And so that's kind of the way the name Howling Rabbits came about.
Nice, man.
Yeah, man. And you're
I didn't even know that.
and everything with the rabbit punch. I really, really like the way it's tasted, man. Pretty good.
Yeah, honestly, I'm downing this rabbit punch, man.
But yeah, I mean, it's packed with fruit. It's one of those where, I mean, you kind of don't expect, when you're drinking it, and all of a sudden the fruit just kind of comes forward. The little bit of tartness. I was really, really happy with that beer. Very, very proud of it.
And I thought you were joking when you said you actually had to open it with a cork. So we had a corkscrew. So we ended up, yeah, man. It's awesome. I love the packaging too. So what made you want to go like in this little direction?
I like it, by the way.
Thank you so much. That was actually a kind of another one of those where Daniel from Brewsome, some of these beers, because they have so much fruit, they tend to re-ferment in the packaging, and unfortunately, sometimes if you put them in cans, the cans will pop.
Right. Yeah,
so
that's right.
The idea came about where, well, what can we do? Can we put them in a bottle? I was really nervous because what if the bottle shatters? So he's like, dude, let's do mini champagne bottles. The idea was like, yeah, mini champagne bottles, the really, really thick glass. We'll cork them, we'll cage them, which was a great idea, but we did everything by hand. So we're filling the bottles by hand, we're corking the bottles by hand, we're caging the bottle. It was a blast, but it was an exhausting adventure. But the idea was that, that if the fruit was to re-ferment, the bottle was going to be strong enough, and it looks really cool. It really
does.
Look cool.
Oh yeah, that's right. So this is the one you were telling me that you had to use that corkscrew machine at Brewsome, the one that's right there at the entrance, dude. Yeah, man, that's awesome. Especially because that's one thing, man. You really take pride in your work, and all the way down to the slightest detail, making sure everything's packaged well. And then even with the fortune cookies, I know you were telling me you opened some of those on your own, right? Man, that's awesome. Tell us about that.
When we came up with the idea, let's buy some fortune cookies. So there was boxes of fortune cookies, and so the idea was awesome until you realize that each one is individually wrapped in plastic, and each one has a little paper inside of it. So we're sitting there for at least about an hour and a half with the first batch of cookies, and we're having to do everything by hand. Yeah, well, because we ended up having to put about 3 batches of cookies in there. But that was hilarious because we're sitting there just, cracking open a bunch of little plastic wrappers, cracking open a bunch of little cookies, making sure the paper doesn't go in it. And yeah, which is kind of cool because if you do order the beer at Brewsome right now, they'll actually hand you the pint and they'll give you the little fortune paper with it too.
Really? Nice. All right. There we go, man. And then hopefully everybody gets a little good fortune out of it too, man, especially 2020. Exactly. Yeah, that's been a crazy.
That was the idea with the 2021 cookies and giving you the little fortune. It's like, hey, better fortune for 2021. Why not?
Yes, sir. Hopefully it's not one of those in the bunch that you get real negative. Like I got one the other day. I was like, oh, man, what the hell? It said stop eating or something like that. I was like,
man. What's the actual name of the fortune cookie beer? Just so people know.
I think we decided with it's called Liquid Luck.
There you go.
Luck. Genius, nice, man. And I know right now, I know we said the other day you kind of were, real hesitant on starting your own brewery, but you're still going to be collaborating and things like that, right?
Yeah, well, for the most part, I'm going to brew wherever I get a chance to brew. I mean, I've been invited with 5x5. I've been invited over at Brewsome. Anybody that, has given me the chance, I'm extremely appreciative. For the time being, opening up a brewery is kind of a hard business. It's like, and I want to say there's an actual book that one of the brewers, well, we're opening up a brewery is the worst idea you can ever have.
I think you mentioned that, right?
Yeah, man. That
Yeah.
was. I was like, what?
I
What
mean,
do you mean? I mean, there's free beer. Free beer, bro.
it is a lot of work, and then there are a lot of laws. There's a
Mhm.
lot that goes into it. But the dream is to eventually open up my own brewery. In the meantime, I'm doing what's called gypsy brewing. I'm just gonna go from brewery to brewery, and collab with whoever lets me collab.
I
And at the
like it.
same time, it gives us a chance to learn from each other. I learn from the other guys' brewing process, the brew houses, why they do certain things the way they do, and I, of course, whenever I get a chance, I do the same thing to them. I'll give them my info, my experience, and it's awesome. I mean, the crab beer community, especially here in the valley, is really amazing.
Yeah, man. And I always see you all just like collaborating just together. And that's great, because that's going to take a long way. It's going to go a long way for, just that exposure and going out there, and then bringing
Mhm.
people here. I know 5x5 been really good about bringing people from like Colorado, from all parts of the country and just
Yeah,
helping out.
yeah.
So that's cool that you get to get that experience in. And then, I wish you, great fortune, no pun intended or anything like that. But definitely, man, that's awesome stuff, and just yeah, man, I really appreciate you joining in, and I'm happy to have you here as the first brewery that we get to microbrewery that we get to talk to and see about the process and spotlight. But we'd love to have you on more too. I know we were talking the other night. You have there's some crazy beers out there, and of course I want to try them and get to know them a little bit more too. So I'd love to have you on a little bit more, and just see what we could come up with. Especially, man, there's just so much out there. I just can't even milk and cookies. That's the one that really got me. I was just like, how do you do a milk and cookies beer and make it taste good? But it's kind of like the fortune cookie, right? It's kind of like those unexpected, you just got to put a lot of pride in like yourself and get those flavors out there, man. But yeah, man, I really appreciate your time and thank you so much for joining in, Jason. Yeah, man, anything else that you want to mention? Where can people follow you? Things like that.
So I have a Facebook page, Howling Rabbits Beer Works. I do have an Instagram, Snapchat, all that stuff, but I'm way more active on Facebook.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I mean, if anything, you can find it under Howling Rabbits Beer Works. Right now, like I said, I'm brewing. Well, we just finished a couple of brews. There's gonna be a stout coming out. The Black is Beautiful, like you mentioned, should
Right.
be out in the
Yeah.
next week or two with 5x5. We're working on another stout through Brewsome, which I believe I told you about. We're gonna do a Café de Olla
Oh, that's
stout.
right.
So
That's right.
yeah,
Yeah.
that one should also probably, hopefully, be coming out in the next week or two. Also,
Oh, the next
once we're
week.
done with this,
Man, you're
maybe a week
hustling.
or two. Dude,
That's
that's the only
awesome,
way.
bro.
That's the only way to live, man.
You already know.
I agree. It's yeah, man. Just keep at it. Just let me know when those come out, and we could definitely, get some on, and then just let the other breweries know as well. We're here to spotlight everybody and get everything out there too, man. I know there's a lot of people like yourself hustling every week, every day, and yeah, man, we're part of that group too. So anything we can do to get you all out there, man, I'll be working my tail off. That's yeah,
Really
man.
appreciate it, man. Really appreciate it. Yeah, I'll let all the other guys know.
Yes,
If you
sir.
ever want to do interviews with them, absolutely. I mean, like I said, the crab beer community, for whoever has not experienced it, the
Mhm.
crab beer community here in the valley is really, really awesome.
Yeah, man. And it looks like it, man. It's just like, like you mentioned, everybody's just learning from each other. And even at that, I think you mentioned that there was one brewery that kind of like got him into the IPA type of thing, no? Like you got him convinced of that. Like, hey, man. No, not convinced, but started playing with it, right? A little bit more.
Well, yeah, that's kind of where the Effie Rona came in with George and 5x5.
Mhm.
He still swears he's not a fan of IPAs, but he drinks them now. So
Yeah, man. I saw that post the other day. What is it? IPA. If you drink IPAs are like tribal tattoos. So I was like, hey, man, I like tribal tattoos. Nah, I'm kidding. But I know what he meant. I was like, oh man, but that was a pretty funny one. But it seems like it's gonna take a little bit more. But that's good, man. That's what you're. That's awesome. People just trying to change the culture, especially when it comes to different flavors and beers. And I applaud you for that, man. Just keep it up, and yeah, man. Thanks for joining in. Appreciate it.
So again, you could catch some of Jason's flavors here at Brewsome. Try the Rabbit Punch. Try that Liquid Luck, and
And then the collabs with 5x5, Black is Beautiful, coming out in a few weeks. So we'll be looking forward to that. Oh, and also your with the cafecito one, right? With the little cinnamon. What was it called again?
the Café de
Cafe
Olla.
Ole. What is it?
Café de Olla.
Café de olla. Café de olla. So man, that one I'm looking forward to because I love especially that little coffee, man, with a little cinnamon touch. But definitely, man, really appreciate your time, and yeah, man, have a good weekend and take care.
Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Have a great weekend.
Careful, though. Don't hit your fucking... Ready to quit, bro?
What the fuck, bro?
It's like Thor's hammer, bro.